avoid that, obviously. So when you look at if you look at, okay, when we find these people, we can prevent between 2 liver transplants and 10 deaths per 100,000 people that get screened. And you look at the cost of screening, you look at that cost to human life, and that raises to the level of saying, hey, look, this is really worth it. We should just be screening everyone.
If you take a test and you don't have it, then you're the way that you were. If you take this test and you have it, it's too late for a vaccine to help you. Now you have to be treated. Wouldn't it make more sense for the recommendation to be all U.S. adults get a Hep B vaccine?
Well, again, these are done by like actuarial type evaluations to see where the benefit, the risk, the benefit, and all of that is. And so since the vaccine isn't 100% effective, I would assume, and I don't know, but that it's a great question, but I would assume that they've weighed the cost, the side effects, the effectiveness of it itself, and said, look, to recommend every man, woman, and child get this, or just man and woman, they're not recommending it for children, get this in the United States, that maybe that does not pan out to be as beneficial. So, I don't know, it's a great question, though, and I think that if you are at risk, for sure, you should get a hepatitis B vaccine, and those would be people in the healthcare industry, because we're exposed to blood, people who require frequent blood transfusions, people who have multiple sexual partners, because you can get this from sexual contact, people who work with needles a lot, and if you're getting a lot of tattoos, tattoo shops shouldn't be at any increased risk, but for some reason there are times when we seem to get that because of the exposure to blood.
All right, Dr. Jim, good stuff. Thank you so much. Gary and Shannon are coming up next. Gary, what are you guys going to be talking about today?
Well, obviously the president is in town. He's going to make his way into L.A. a couple hours from now, and then over to Monterey Park to sign an executive order on some gun issues, but it seems to be that there's just not really much teeth in the executive order. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Former President Trump blames Mike Pence for January 6th. And what did you have in your school lunches? Was it as bad as the current school lunches are? Because it ain't good. We'll do all of that coming up. KFI and KOST, HD2 Los Angeles, Orange County.
But wait, there's more. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Southern California is going to get soaked again. KFI's Blake Trolley reports live. A flash flood watch is in effect for all of LA County.
Yeah, that flood watch is in effect because of the intensity of the rains expected to come down and the potential for snow melt from the warm storm system.
In general, we're looking at 1 to 3 inches of rainfall across the coastal valley areas, mountains. Some of the mountain areas, the south-facing slopes of the San Gabriel Mountains, will see between 4 and 6 inches of rain, possibly.
National Weather Service meteorologist Todd Hull says the rain should really start coming down later this afternoon. A flood watch is also set to go into effect this afternoon for Orange County and the Inland Empire. The northern IE, specifically the foothills of the San Bernardino Mountains, are at risk of flooding. Those areas could see several inches of rain. Rain is also expected to come down on much of that snow in the San Bernardino Mountains, which could add to those flooding issues. Reporting live, Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Thousands of people along the Central Coast are under evacuation orders because of flooding caused by a levee breach. The breach Saturday on the Pajaro River was 100 feet. It's now 400 feet, and another storm has arrived. Hundreds of people in Monterey County are living in shelters.
I want to cry, but what's crying going to do, you know? It's just sad.
A county water resources engineer says high water levels are creating challenging conditions for crews attempting to repair the breach. President Biden's expected to talk about gun violence during a visit to Monterey Park. The White House says he will grieve with families impacted by a mass shooting at a dance studio in January where 11 people were killed. ABC's Mary Bruce says the president will also sign an executive order
intended to boost background checks. He's also urging regulators and people to try and put in place more red flag laws. The president, look, he knows that he is limited in his ability to take action here, but he's going to be signing this.
She says gun reform legislation is up to Congress, but Biden's trying to show Americans that he is acting where Congress is not. The police chief in Monterey Park says he welcomes the president's visit. Chief Scott Weiss tells KTLA the city is still recovering from the mass shooting earlier this year.
Having the president come here and kind of wrap his arms around the city and meet with the victims and talk about some of the root causes maybe of shootings like this. I think it's important for the healing process.
The man who stopped the shooter before he could attack a dance studio in nearby Alhambra was a guest at the President's State of the Union address last month. An appeals court in California says Uber and Lyft can continue treating drivers like independent contractors in California. The ruling upholds the voter-approved law Prop 22 that says Uber and Lyft drivers are independent and not entitled to benefits like paid sick leave and unemployment insurance. The windows of 10 Teslas have been smashed in while they were parked in a lot in Carson. The LA County Sheriff's Department says deputies responded to the car lot on Main Street this morning. It says it does not appear anything was stolen from the cars. No one's been arrested in connection with the damage. A paid internship program at the Port of LA is back on track.
The Port of LA is accepting applications for its summer internship program after a 3-year hiatus. A statement from the port says interns will be given assignment opportunities in different fields such as engineering, marketing, real estate, and more. The paid program is open to current undergrad and grad students who are interested in on-the-job skill building and networking. The 10-week program starts June 5th through August 11th. Applications will be accepted through March 31st. Deborah Mark, KFI News.
Your KFI financial update is sponsored by Jacoby and Myers. The Dow is up 409, S&P is up 73, NASDAQ gaining 257, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.91.
Don't wait. Maximize your compensation after an accident. Call Jacoby and Myers now. Justice for you since 1972.
SoCal weather from KFI. Very gray start. We could get a shower this morning, but the real rain's expected to come later this afternoon, overnight into tomorrow morning. Gusty winds in the mountains and the high deserts as well, but a very warm storm, so highs are just going to be in the mid-50s to the lower 60s. Could see 2 to 4 inches of rain. Right now it is 59 in Yorba Linda, 56 in Brea, 58 in Mission Hills. Let's get a look at your drive with BKFI in the sky through Long Beach.
Yeah, troubles on the 405 northbound at just about Cherry. Looks like a stall clearing out of the middle lanes there. It is extra tight now, leaving the 605. Good news, though, up ahead, you're just a little sluggish through the South Bay curve. It will be the toughest beyond that. Pretty much from Inglewood, from Manchester, on and off the brakes up to the 10. Now, still big troubles in Riverside, a couple of them now. The 91 westbound at La Sierra, past La Sierra. That's an accident involving a big rig and a fuel spill, the whole 9 yards. Carpool, left lane, right lane blocked, and now a smack up in the backup. 91 westbound at La Sierra, or actually a little closer to Van Buren. That's the left lane that's blocked, so it's already backed up way back into, almost into downtown Riverside, back towards Central. I would exit there, pick up Magnolia north of the freeway, or Indiana to the south. It's going to save you a lot of time. Mike O'Brien, KFI in the sky.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Xeljanz. Visit Xeljanz.com or call 1-844-XELJANZ.
With DoorDash, you can get your Starbucks pick-me-ups without the picking up. Seriously, we're bringing your go-tos right to you. Cheers to the anytimes, any reasons, and the anything in betweens. Starbucks delivery now available on DoorDash. Menu limited. See the DoorDash app for details. Tap the banner to order now.
Arranca la primavera con un paquete de cambio de aceite para tu auto en Advance Auto Parts. Obtén 5 cuartos de aceite Móvil 1, Castro, Valvoline, Pennzoil Frac, más un filtro de aceite selecto por un precio increíble. Y justo ahora elige el paquete de Móvil 1 completamente sintético por solo $39,99 y llévate gratis un embudo y una bandeja de drenaje. El aceite y el filtro que quieres, el precio que quieres, todos los días. Solo en Advance Auto Parts y CarQuest participantes. Visita la tienda para más detalles.
Warmer weather is here, and that means the tree, grass, and ragweed pollens are here too. Nip allergies in the bud this spring. Head into Safeway and stop that cough, sneezing, and itchy eyes with products like Benadryl Ultra Tabs, Zyrtec Adult Tablets, Flonase Allergy Relief, Allegra Adult Tablets, Claritin Allergy 24-Hour Relief, Mucinex Expectorant Extended Release Tablets, or Vicks DayQuil Cough and Congestion Citrus. Visit Safeway.com to shop online or visit your local store. Safeway has everything you need this allergy season.
Let's move on to something fun.
We got an amazing treat for you today.
Okay, now can we rewire it, please? So I can go have my muffin. I haven't had a muffin yet.
Gary Hoffman.
Well, I don't know what the internet is talking about because you are gone.
Shannon Farron.
Oh, thank you, lady. There's a French version of this show, and with me today are the two hosts.
Gary and Shannon.
Very cool people. Very cool. This is gonna be nuts.
God be with them.
Gary and Shannon, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app on this Tuesday, March 14th. You heard Jennifer talk about stocks are up in a big way after the latest inflation report came in exactly as expected. Consumer Price Index for February rose by 0.4%. CPI went up 6%. The Dow has been up more than 450 points at times. Right now it's up 417. NASDAQ had the best day percentage-wise. It's been up about 2.5%.
One of the issues that we've been watching is obviously the banks and regional banks and the potential for them to suffer what you would call stress now. Credit Suisse shares fell 5% to an all-time low this morning after they confirmed, quote, material weaknesses, and they had an $8 billion loss last year. This was just hours after a financial expert, you know, the name Robert Kiyosaki, he's the rich dad, poor dad guy. He predicted the fall of Lehman Brothers back in 2008 and is now warning that the problem is the bond market and that Credit Suisse, as a result, the 8th largest investment bank in the world, is currently the most vulnerable.
We will go live to Washington to find out what can be done with the banking industry when it comes to Congress and their plans moving forward. We'll do that coming up next. But first, Washington is in our backyard today with the president visiting Monterey Park.
He spent the night in San Diego, or in the San Diego area, so he'll be coming into, I think it's LAX at about 11:40 this morning, travel to El Monte at about noon. He's got the speech is expected about 12:45 today, so we will keep an ear on it and see if we can carry it live when he gets to where he's going to deliver his speech. But this is all about a new executive order when it comes to gun control.
It says that it would require background checks for all firearm purchases, increasing awareness of red flag laws to prevent gun possession by questionable people, and crack down on the loss or theft of weapons during shipping. According to the White House, there's been a 250% increase in the number of firearms reported lost or stolen during shipments between federally licensed firearms dealers between 2018 and 2022. But when you dig into the language, as you said, it kind of lacks teeth, not kind of about it. It says that the executive order has the goal of increasing the number of background checks conducted before sales.
And it sounds as if it directs Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, quote, to do everything he can to ensure that firearms sellers who do not realize they are required to run background checks under existing law, or who are willfully violating existing law, become compliant with background check requirements.
Now, how the hell is Merrick Garland going to know where to go for that?
I have no idea. But all it says is enforce the current law.
Right. This is all about checking the gun violence box as Democrats. They've got to act like they're doing something, because that's just one of their hills that they die on.
Well, and I understand the frustration that Joe Biden has that Congress hasn't or won't, or whatever word, done anything when it comes to consistent control, background checks, federally licensed firearms dealers and things like that. But the stuff like this, I mean, yes, it sounds great. It sounds like he's doing something. It sounds like he's expanding gun control, and it sounds like he's expanding background checks and raising red flag. That's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's telling Merrick Garland, we have rules on the books, enforce the rules,
He
which
doesn't-
everybody agrees with.
He doesn't have the power to do much more than this.
Right, without Congress.
Right.
The other thing is that he would ask Merrick Garland to carry out a plan to stop firearms dealers whose federal licenses have been revoked. So, A, it's illegal for them to sell weapons, or they had surrendered from selling guns. Now, if your license has been revoked or surrendered, that means you do not currently have a license. So again, the second point of this is just, hey, Department of Justice, enforce the laws that are already on the books.
The president has more things on his wish list. He has called for Congress and bank regulators to strengthen the rules to protect American jobs and small businesses. This is all about the fallout of the Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Did you see, by the way, people are selling Silicon Valley Bank merch
Yes.
on eBay?
Like the little thermoses. And
Right.
Well,
Who's going to buy that? Who's in the market for a failed bank thermos?
somebody bought one.
We'll go to Washington when we come back to find out those calls for Congress to act when it comes to the banking industry.
We got a lot going on. We'll keep an eye on the weather. All of that stuff is happening today. We're under flood and wind watches for the next few hours.
Also, it's True Crime Tuesday. We will bring you the tale of Circleville, Ohio, where somebody was sending anonymous letters for 2 decades, starting in 1977, accusing the townspeople of all sorts of malfeasance, embezzlement, betrayal, murder.
And we have to mix in the zebra too, since that's why we even found out about Circleville.
You gotta let that zebra go. You gotta put that zebra down.
They did.
Yeah, I know.
It lives on in my heart. Hello. Why are you so anti-zebra?
Well, that zebra was like Cujo. It took that guy's arm off. It wasn't just living its life, it was terrorizing people.
All right, to be clear, it didn't take the entire arm off.
It took a good portion of it. Yeah, good chunk.
What side are you on, Jonesy? I thought you would
We're not
love the
splitting
zebra.
arms here.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Gary and Shannon will continue. Jennifer Jones-Lee is in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
A winter storm in the Northeast has heavy, wet snow, and it's led to hundreds of school closing, canceled flights, and some power outages. Facebook's parent company Meta is cutting another 10,000 jobs in order to cut costs. And Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Irvin is dropping his lawsuit against Marriott Hotels and the hotel employee. The former Dallas Cowboy sued the company after he was told to leave one of the properties in downtown Phoenix during Super Bowl week because of alleged misconduct with a woman. We'll get a look at your drive through Hollywood in just a moment.
We've talked about SolarMax technology for years now, and it's simply because they are the best.
Now, a few years ago, 7 years ago now, if you can believe that almost, I did all the research because we're moving into a new house and we wanted to go solar. SolarMax clearly came out on top. They built us a custom solar system with the most innovative technology. They do everything out there in one roof, under one roof, I should say, out in Riverside. They have the highest quality solar panels, inverters, battery systems in the industry.
Right now is the best time to get solar because you get more electrical production in the spring. So save big, call SolarMax, get a 12-panel system for $0 down, $59.99 a month. These are the most powerful solar panels on the market.
Plus, you're going to want to lock in those NEM 2.0 benefits by April 13th. So call SolarMax right now. Start saving money by spraying their 12-panel system. $0 down, $59.99 a month.
Dial pound 250 from your cell. Say that keyword SolarMax, pound 250 SolarMax, or go to solarmaxtech.com.
Monthly payment available on approved credit, ASLB number 97204.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a wind advisory in effect. We've got a flood advisory for much of LA County as well. Gusty winds in the mountains and high desert. Highs today with this rainstorm are just going to be in the mid-50s to the lower 60s. The rain should taper off by tomorrow. This report is brought to you by your Staples stores. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places like Hollywood.
We're a tough drive on the build on the 101 southbound. You can up just about Santa Monica Boulevard. It will be tough into downtown Los Angeles from there. Northbound 101, tight from downtown up through Echo Park, and then beyond that, not too bad up into Universal City. Big trouble still brewing in Riverside. A double trouble problem there. The 91 westbound at La Sierra, that's an accident now in the right lane. A fuel spill though, and it's been there over an hour. And in the backup, you got another one. Down approaching Van Buren. That's the left lane that's blocked. So the bottom line is you're backed up to about Central Arlington there. I would exit there, pick up Magnolia north of the freeway, or Indiana to the south. Mike O'Brien, KFI in the sky.
California's flavor tobacco law will save lives by ending the sale of most flavored tobacco, including vapes and menthol cigarettes. Carol McGruder of the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council.
The law will help save African American and Black Californians. Our neighborhoods have been targeted for decades with cheap